guys, it's me, Tiara from the African Medicine Woman. I am here today to talk about setting up your ancestor table. Bear with me. I am dealing with the sinus cold, so my mind is a little frazzled, but I do want to get this information out to you guys today because I have been getting a lot of questions on setting up an ancestor table, altar, and what is it used for, okay? So as I have stated in previous posts in my group, that the ancestors are the foundation to us, who we are. Anybody who does any kind of African spirituality work should have an ancestor altar in their home. Even if you do not do any kind of work for others or into the African spirituality work, you should still have an ancestor altar because it's very important to have one in your home. Just to pay homage and respect to your ancestors who have shed blood and fought the good fight for us to be here today, to be expressive and to live the life that we have now. So to get started, I want to talk about what is an ancestor. So an ancestor is someone in your family who has passed away, someone who is connected to your bloodline. It can be your aunt, your uncle, your dad, your mom, your sister, your brother, anyone in your bloodline that has passed away. But also be mindful that the people that you choose to pick out for your ancestor altar, make sure that you had a good connection with them, that the energy with that person was good and positive. You do not want to add people that cause you pain or troubles in your life, because that's the type of energy that they're going to bring into your home, and the kind of energy that it's going to be present at your ancestor altar. All it takes is for their one uncle or one aunt to be on your ancestor altar and mess up the whole mojo, okay? So again, ancestors are people that are in your bloodline who has passed away. If you do not have family members that you were close to, it is okay to have a ancestor altar with people who were like bloodline, like a friend or a mentor, something in that nature, someone who has passed on that has brought you good energy and vibes into your life, okay? I also want to talk about, I wrote down notes because my mind is so frazzled. I don't want to just be blah, 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 and off or whatever. So after you've decided who you want to put on your ancestor altar, family members, bloodline, or someone who was like an ancestor to you or was like a family member to you, okay? Though that is what an ancestor is, okay? Setting up the altar, okay? I would say pick any place in your home besides your bedroom. And why I say not the bedroom is because that's where your soul rests at night. And as you know, the spirit world is awake when we're asleep. So if you're trying to get a good night's rest, you're not going to be able to, because that's the time your ancestors are going to be waking you up constantly to come and talk to them if it's in your bedroom. My ancestor table altar is in my living room along with my family altar. I have a family altar where I send out blessings and love to my family on a daily basis. So that's where my ancestor altar is. So pick a place in your home that you know you can go to that's kind of private. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be lavish. Just somewhere you can have a space for your ancestors. After you've picked this place for your ancestors, you want to clean it well, okay? And when I say clean it well, I mean mop, sweep, dust, get the cobwebs out the corner or whatever, okay? Because you don't want to invite your ancestor spirit into your home and it's crowded, you know, there's no room for them, you know, to come to. So after you've cleaned it, you want to pick a table, of course. So some people do glass. I prefer wood. It's just, it lasts longer. It doesn't take a lot of cleaning, the table, you know, because it's wood. So after you pick your table, in your spot. Your spot can also, let me note that your spot can also be on the floor. If you cannot afford a table at the moment, your ancestor altar can be on the floor. Okay, it's fine, as long as the space is clean. All right. So after you've picked the place you want your ancestor altar to be, and you've cleaned it and dusted on up, and you picked your table or your spot, you want to go ahead and you want to bless that area. And when I say bless the area, I mean using Florida water or some type of blessed oil. For my other root workers out there, conjure workers, I prefer to make my own conjure oil for my ancestors. I do use Florida water because it's just fantastic. So you want to wipe down the table. You want to bless the floor with that. Basically saying a little prayer in that area to put your spirit into that corner or space that you have made for your ancestors. Okay, so once you have done that and blessed the area and saged it all up and Palo Santo'd and all of that stuff, you're going to set up your table. Now, some people say they use a cloth. Some people don't use the cloth. I say use a cloth, okay? It can be white. It can be black. It can be green. It can be yellow. It can be orange. It can be purple. And we know all colors have different significance to the color. I use white because it is purity and it is a positive color. And when I go and talk to my ancestors, I want the energy to be positive and strong. Kind of like transparent. I want them to hear me, and I want to hear them. So my cloth on my ancestor table is white. You can use red if you want to bring more passion or more love to your ancestor table, or fire. You can use black. Usually I switch up from black and white. If I'm doing like banishing work or hexing work, I will switch out to a black cloth. When I'm consulting my ancestors on someone I need to hex or I have an issue, when it's time to get into my dark work, that's when I switch out to my black cloth. But black cloth can also repel negative energy, but it is an absorber of energy. So I don't work with it frequently because I'm not always hexing people or banishing someone or doing harm, justified harm, So it's always white. You can use green for fertility, prosperity, growth, life. That's what green represent. Orange is power and success. You can use yellow for intuition. It just depends on what calls to you. Blue for peace and calm. So make sure you pick the ancestor cloth that works well for you. Okay. So after you've placed your cloth on top or whatever, at this point you should already know who you want on your ancestor altar. You can either do pictures of those ancestors or you can do items. I have 17 people on my ancestor altar, so I cannot do items of 17 people because my table is not that big. So I did pictures instead. It is a collage of many pictures, and it's like 3 sets of pictures that I have on my ancestor altar. So you're going to place your things, the pictures or their things on your ancestor altar, okay? You want to make sure you have all the elements, fire, wind, earth, and water on your altar, or any representation of the 4 elements of the earth. You also want to make sure that you get 4 7-day pillar candles like these, okay? Dollar Tree sells them for $1. You can make your own. Because when you get done setting up your altar, you're going to have to use these 7-day candles to connect with your ancestors. Okay. They need their own candles at their table. So once you get their table all set up with all the things you need, I say go ahead and bless your table again. Once you got it all set up, then you sit down and you say a little prayer. I'm not going to get too much into that, like opening the doors of ancestral spirits, because that's another video. I just wanted to talk about setting up the table, setting up the area where it can be, what goes on there. It can be as big and extravagant as you want, or as small as a piece of a cloth with 2 candles and 1 person on the ancestor altar. So it's really up to you how you want your ancestor altar to look. So yeah, I'm not going to get into like the dedication work at the ancestor altar. That's another video for another time. I just wanted to talk to you guys about setting one up, because a lot of people like, where do you put it? How do I set it up? How would I know? Or whatever the case might be. So as I said, I'm going to go over these steps again. Also, make sure that you have people who have a positive effect in your life that has passed away. You don't want to put people on there you've had a negative impact with. So if it's your mother or your father and okay, those are the only people that have passed on, but your relationship was not great, you would want to do a forgiveness ritual first, okay? Before you set them out on your ancestor table. That's another video talking about a forgiveness ritual. And also remember, just a FYI, for you guys, is that, ancestor altars, a lot of people are afraid to put them in their house because it's a place where the spirit comes to communicate. They come and sit there. But it's not scary. Make sure you always leave an offering of water, coffee, some kind of offering at the table, whether you're using it or not. Make sure that there's always an offering, because your the spirits are always there in that space, because that's their space. So you want to make sure they feel comfortable, they feel at home. So make sure you always, 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 always have an offering out to them. I always leave an offering. If I don't put anything else out on the table, I make sure to keep them with water. Water is the way spirits travel. It's a good emotional barrier or whatever. Smoke, whatever, tobacco, coffee, whatever your family used to like when they were here, it's the same thing they like in the spirit world. It does not change. So I just wanted to give you guys a little insight on how to set up your ancestor altar. And I also want to just send a little gesture out there for everyone inquiring about root work and conjure. Without our ancestors, okay, conjure work would not exist. All right. A lot of people have the knowledge of conjure work, but don't understand the work, or do not understand how ancestors fit into doing conjure work. You cannot just sit there and throw a lot of ingredients together and expect for the herbs or the materials to do what you want it to do just because you put it in a bottle or some oil or a satchel. Okay. It is a process into making conjure tools for other people or for yourself. And this work is borrowed from our ancestors, okay? They came here with the knowledge and passed the knowledge down, through their bloodline. So without them, conjure work does not work. So for all my conjure workers out there, always remember to pay homage to your ancestors. And if you're doing conjure work without an ancestor table, who are you really getting your power from? Okay? So I just wanted to talk to you guys today about setting up your ancestor altar. If you have any questions further, please feel free to inbox me. Whatever, make a comment on the page, post, or whatever the case might be. I am free to talk about the process of setting up an ancestor altar and getting into conjure work, because this is for all of us African people, this conjure work. Our ancestors brought this to this world for us, this homeland for us to use. Okay, so it is all of ours. So, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.